Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining today. My name's Rob. I'm from Leighton, Asia, and we're going to be discussing modular and composable AI video analytics for construction safety. So maybe first, just allow me to give you a bit more background about who we are and what Leighton are doing. So I'm a digital construction manager for Leighton. I'm actually based in Hong Kong, but also support all our regions across Asia and basically involved in trying to deploy and lead a lot of our innovation and technology initiatives across all our regions. And joining me is Manikam. I don't know if you could unmute Manikam, say
Yeah.
hello.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Thiru here from Leighton Asia. So I'm in Singapore, basically. So I'm actually covering for SHEQ, which is Quality, Environmental, and Health and Safety.
Okay,
Yep.
thank
Good.
you. So just a bit about Leighton, just to give you a bit of context. We're a general contractor working across the full Asia region, and obviously in Singapore as well. We do all sorts of projects, whether it be big civil projects, roads, tunnels, bridges, but also a lot of data centers in the last couple of years as well. So we've got a really good diverse set of projects that we are currently doing in many different unique regions. And whilst we are a big organization in itself, we are part of a much bigger group. And I just wanted to touch on this briefly, just to sort of highlight that whilst we are part of this big group, in terms of video analytics and using AI, I would say that we are the only one really doing it at the moment. And I think a lot of that is down to the region, I think, and in particular Singapore and Hong Kong, where we do a lot of work. They're, in my eyes, the two jurisdictions that are really pushing this and leading the way. And there's all sorts of reasons for that, but there's maybe some challenges in other regions, such as Europe, for doing things like video analytics. But I think going forward, there's a real opportunity for what we're doing in Hong Kong and Singapore to sort of lead the way across our group and other regions as well. So I think it was worth touching on. So a bit about our journey in video analytics. We started probably 2 or 3 years ago testing a variety of AI modules on site. And I'd say more recently, we've decided to narrow down the focus of the analytics to what we consider as the higher risk activities. So in particular, working near heavy machinery, working under lifted loads, and working near open edges. And I'd probably add in one more to that, which would be fire smoke detection or thermal detection. We think with those four analytics, we can basically monitor what we consider as the high risk activities on a construction site. So whilst there are other modules, these are our current focus points. So what we've found in the last couple of years is that through all the testing of different modules, there's a lot of it's quite siloed. And whilst the AI is doing its job and detecting things correctly in terms of the actual AI, a lot of the alerts lack context. So we were finding that only maybe 10 or 20% was actionable. And it was obviously when you're deploying things onto a construction team on a construction site, if things don't provide accuracy to the workforces, then it loses steam very, very quickly, and you lose the confidence of the site team. So for us, we'd like to see a solution where we can build that confidence in the technology, because the technology has a lot of potential, but there needs to be some context added in order to make this really in order to make this really successful. So, for example, we see the opportunity as basically helping the development of a modular composable VA solution that allows you to not just look at one particular module, but maybe combine modules so that they're working together. I think there was an example on the previous slide, like, for example, when you're working under a lifted load, sorry, if you're working with an open edge, rather than just highlighting there's an open edge, could it also provide some context and see whether or not the person has also already got a harness? So it's that type of stuff we're looking at. So there's almost conditions applied, a modular approach where you can apply the conditions, and that could almost be copy and paste it into another project. So you've got this kind of um, setup, which is really easy to deploy at the beginning of a project. And currently, it's all quite manual from what we've seen on the market. So really, as I said, it's all about building confidence in the solution to make it a fully active system. I would say that currently we use it more, maybe I'll go back to the previous slide. We use it more for trend analysis and records highlighting non-compliances, but there really needs to be a review of all these alerts um, before we issue a response. Because as I said, there's only maybe 20% which are actionable. So we obviously want to bring that number much higher. So in terms of the functional requirements, um, we've given a few examples in the challenge statement of what we would like to see being combined, such as open edges, no harness, machinery in a no access area, or under lifted loads and no access area. With the smoke and fire, I think I think there's maybe a good use case would be working in a confined space, and if there was smoke or fire, then the ability to highlight who's in that area. So I think, as I said, these are really examples. We're open to suggestions on other things that can be combined. Our feeling is that this current setup of having a modular analytics is not currently in the market from what we've seen. So I think it's all needs to be developed. And going forward, I think it really sets the scene for more of like a generative AI solution, which where you can almost provide a lot more context to the analytics, and it's almost acting like a human interpreting the scene, not just basing it on a very predefined metric. It's analyzing the whole scene and providing context in much the way a human would. So our expected outcomes are really just to improve the accuracy. We've given some numbers, but yeah, I think that really depends on what solution we can provide. But we feel that to make this a successful solution on a project and to get real buy-in from people, it needs to be up in the 80, 90% confidence. Otherwise, people are not going to use it, and it's just going to become one of those things that alerts their phone every 5 minutes and is not relevant to what they're doing day to day. In terms of what we can provide as a contractor, obviously we have multiple sites. We have a big project in Singapore with lots of uh, cameras deployed at the moment. And obviously we've got experts in the field who are directly on projects. And we've been using this kind of technology for a couple of years, so we're quite familiar with video analytics in general. Maybe Tiri, do you want to give a bit of background on the project we have available in Singapore that we can do testing on?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. So hello to everyone. So currently we have this one of our private projects that we have installed about 32 cameras. Currently, we have actually using an AIs with the video analytics about 10. This is like I have seen in the chat groups one of the questions that I actually asked about whether the night time environment safe set. Yes, this photo exactly is actually taken at a night. If you could see the timing, so this is around 8 o'clock. So that's the cameras and still able to capture the AIs where the person's actually walking closer to the machineries. This is where one of the user cases that we have currently is using where a person's walking or working closely to the missionaries. And then when there is an alert, it's been activated, that will go through the telegrams so that the respective person in charge that can respond that's whether what actions being taken to address these or whether it's in compliance. So that also we can actually follow up with the trend analysis on this. It's like more on response to the action alert, not only just receiving in a message through the telegrams. It also allows the respective person in charge to respond to that alert.
Okay, thank you. So I think the bottom line is that the technology we've seen in the market is there in terms of finding specific problems and on site, but and also in terms of providing like an immediate alert and using Telegram or WhatsApp or email as a system to make the alert. What we're looking for is how to build confidence in that alert so that it becomes something that we can use going forward.
Yeah,
So with
like
that in
next
mind,
generation.
exactly, yeah. With that in mind, we invite any questions you may have.
I think that just covers one of the ones there from Xiao Yu on that particular point. Festus Thomas, would we get the RTSP feeds directly to the system we're expected to build, or do we have to take the output from existing VA models that do some evaluation and then we have to process?
We have access to the RTSP feeds, so we could, yeah, if you wanted to do testing on our projects, yeah, we can give access to that, no problem.
Okay, and the next one up was what typical nodes, pre-build functions are you looking at?
Um,
Is that clear to you?
I think if I'm,
Oh, there's more because the output is already there. The methodology is via post-processing the alert. Okay.
I think it's about combining these alerts. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think when we talk about generative AI, that's obviously the future and is something that's coming where you can add context to AI and it's not just a predefined condition. But I think with this particular technology, there's a bit of a step change before you get to that, which is being able to, manually combine those nodes.
Yeah. And the ordering of that and things are moving pretty swiftly at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, any last questions from anyone else? We've got a little bit of time up our sleeve. We're just at the 12-minute mark, but we're happy to go on for another question. Oh, sorry, I missed this one. My apologies from Gunnison. Please define no access. When did you say no access? I guess.
I think by no access, we just mean like not allowing people into a certain area. So the
Yeah,
AI is picking up when people are entering a zone which they shouldn't be accessing.
yeah. And so some. Okay, if that's all for now, thanks, Rob and Thuru, for that, and Anders before for your presentations. Now, there's one last one. Is there any requirement to deploy the solution on site with edge services, or would we be able to deploy on the cloud?
Should be able to do on the cloud. I think on the project in Singapore, Turu, I think that would be
Yeah,
available. Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
available.